Hey guys. Excuse me. Happy Monday. If you're watching this on a Monday. Um so I got the blower machine, which I think is maybe on the other side. Anyways, I brought the blower machine out back to blow off some of these little pollen clumps that are all over the place. And I was blowing off the porch, and then this, I think he was massive. He probably wasn't. Lizard was sitting on the couch out here and was disgusting. So I took that thing and blew him off, and he's probably over there waiting on me somewhere. So now I'm paranoid, looking all over the place. So, all right. So remember last week we finished off with chapter 6? Yeah, 6, where Nora took Annabelle, snatched her from the dollhouse, threw her down. She landed, thankfully, on a soft place, the captain's bed, and was kind of trying to escape from the captain. And as she ran across the living room, she ran into Miss Palmer's foot. Remember that? And landed in doll state because Miss Palmer saw her move. So chapter 7 today is called Doll State. All right, chapter 7. Miss Palmer picked up Annabelle. I thought I saw you, she started to say. Then she shook her head. Silly. It's impossible. Annabelle, lifeless, hung stiffly from between Mrs. Palmer's fingers. Mrs. Palmer muttered something else, then set Annabelle on the edge of the coffee table. The girl should know better, she said, and she continued towards the kitchen. Twice, though, she looked over her shoulder at Annabelle, and she stared at her on her way back to the stairs. Doll state. Annabelle was in doll state. Again. She remembered the last time she was in doll state and imagined what was going to happen next. In the morning, Miss Palmer would have a talk with the girls, then scold Nora and tell her she had nearly tripped over Annabelle in the dark. Think how horrible it would have been if I had stepped on Annabelle, she would say. I could have crushed her. Then Kate would carry Annabelle back to the dollhouse and most likely put her to bed. The dolls would wait patiently for the Palmers to leave. When the coast was clear, Mama and Papa would call to Annabelle. She wouldn't be able to answer them, and then everyone would know she was in doll state again. In her mind, Annabelle sighed. She lay on the coffee table and tried to entertain herself by thinking amusing thoughts, but she was too cross. She couldn't think of anything funny. This was the night her family was supposed to go visit the fun crafts. Had they gone without Annabelle? Was she missing the fun? Annabelle tried thinking about her birthday. It was coming up soon, May 12th. A spring birthday. Annabelle thought spring birthdays were the nicest of all. In the doll family, Annabelle's birthday came first, then Nanny's, then Papa's, then Uncle Doll's, then Baby Betsy's, then Mama's, then Auntie Sarah's, and finally Bobby's. Their birthdays were the dates on which, over a century ago, the old doll maker had completed them, had put the final touches on them, and at last said, "There, all done," and let out a small, proud sigh, which had made his white mustache puff out. When he had finished Annabelle, he placed her on a wooden shelf in his workshop in London next to several other completed dolls. That evening, after he left his workshop, the doll nearest to Annabelle had nudged her. "It's time to take the oath," she had said quietly. What? Annabelle had not felt quite awake yet. She was still in the half-sleep state in which she'd found herself when the doll maker finished her that afternoon. Before that, she had not been conscious at all. "You should take the oath now," the other doll said. "The doll code of honor. You have to take it now while no humans are present. Repeat after me. I, Annabelle Doll, an avowed member of the race of dolls. I, Annabelle Doll, an avowed member of the race of dolls," Annabelle repeated sleepily, "do hereby promise to protect our secret life. Do hereby promise to protect our secret life." Annabelle felt more awake. "By upholding the doll code of honor. By upholding the doll code of honor. In accordance with its everlasting law. In accordance with its everlasting law." In other words, the doll said, if you make a mistake and put the secret life of dolls in danger, you can become an ordinary doll again. An ordinary doll. Even though she had taken the oath over 100 years ago, whenever Annabelle remembered this particular moment of her birthday, she shuddered slightly. It made her think about permanent doll state. Perhaps there was some truth to it. But Annabelle rarely dwelled on the possibility. After Annabelle had taken the oath, the other doll said, "You know, you can take back the oath. You don't have to be a living doll." So this is a picture of Annabelle on the shelf at the doll maker's factory where she was created. You see right down here in this corner is little bitty Annabelle holding up her hand, vowing to take the doll code of honor, or the doll oath. Okay. You don't have to be a living doll. You can choose to be an ordinary one from the start, but that decision is irreversible. Of course, as an ordinary doll, your life would be much easier, but it would be boring, Annabelle had finished for her, now fully awake. Forget it. I want to be a living doll, a doll person. I'm sure it's much more fun. Very well, the other doll had replied, and then they had talked about doll state and many other things, but Annabelle was quite certain that the exact words permanent doll state had never been mentioned. 3 weeks later, the doll maker had completed Nanny. That evening, it was Annabelle who had given Nanny the oath. So there's Annabelle giving her the same oath that was given to her. Something she did not let Nanny forget. Even though Nanny, as a nanny, was the one who now had to remind Annabelle to live by the doll code of honor. Annabelle knew she would always be a kid, and Nanny would always be a grown-up. And if somebody had to be a grown-up, Annabelle was glad it wasn't her. Annabelle had celebrated her next birthday in the doll maker's shop, but she celebrated the one after that and all the others in the house at 26 Weatherby Lane. And Annabelle always remembered to make a secret wish on her birthday. Often the wish came true, which was nearly as good as getting a present. Annabelle's thoughts drifted to Auntie Sarah's journal. She considered spiders and the nature study exploration. She imagined Auntie Sarah blending near the radio in the living room. Where else might she have blended? Where had her adventures taken her? Had Auntie Sarah ever left the Palmer's house? Had she been outdoors? Annabelle had not been outdoors since the day the shipping box had been delivered to the Cox's doorstep in 1898. But she thought about the outdoors often. It was a huge world. It was far bigger than the doll's house. It was bigger than Kate's room. It was even bigger than the Palmer's entire house. It was enormous. Annabelle didn't know any doll who had been outdoors by herself, but she wondered about Auntie Sarah, and she had a feeling the grown-up dolls wondered about her, too. She was sure, in fact, that there was something the grown-ups were not telling her about Auntie Sarah and her disappearance. What was it? Were they afraid Auntie Sarah had gone outdoors? If she had, chances were she would never return or be found. Not after all this time. Were they afraid Auntie Sarah was in permanent doll state somewhere? Were they afraid she had been damaged or broken beyond repair? All those things were scary, but, thought Annabelle, she would much rather know the truth than go on wondering. Mama had said that because they were dolls and could not violate the doll code of honor, that they had not gone looking for Auntie Sarah. Annabelle had recently decided that she no longer believed this. In fact, a horrible thought occurred to Annabelle as she now lay motionless through the long night. The grown-up dolls, she now understood, were afraid to look for Auntie Sarah. Afraid! And because of their fear, they were willing to give up on her, on Annabelle's beloved auntie. Not fair, thought Annabelle. Not right. As soon as I can, Annabelle decided, as the living room began to grow faintly dusky in the morning early light. I'm going to search for Auntie Sarah again. I'm going to find her. I'll do whatever it takes. Maybe Tiffany can help me. We can read every single word of Auntie Sarah's journal. We might find a clue. We'll search every inch of the Palmer's house, even if it takes us years. We'll search outdoors if we have to. I don't think Tiffany would be afraid to do any of those things. Annabelle tried to shift to a more comfortable position on the coffee table, but she couldn't budge. Doll state was so annoying. She simply lay there and waited and waited and waited some more. At long last, morning came and things happened pretty much the way Annabelle had imagined they would. The next evening, when 24 hours had passed and Annabelle was no longer in doll state, she told her family what happened. Nanny scolded her. Mama hugged her but gave her a small talking to. Papa patted her head and told her to try and be more careful, then gave her a small talking to of his own. And Uncle Doll said, such a risk. But he whispered to her, did you see anything interesting while you were down there? And Annabelle smiled at him and shook her head. There's Uncle Doll and Annabelle. All right, so that was kind of a short chapter today, chapter 7, and then chapter 8 will be tomorrow. If you haven't had a chance yet to watch the other video I posted today with the Magical Monday, do that sometime. That's a really cool book that Miss Hawkins read to y'all. And of course, shoot me the answers to your Magical Monday questions, and I think tomorrow morning I'm going to make a post announcing all the students who got those 3 questions correct, which I've gotten a lot of answers so far. You guys have all gotten them right, which is so exciting. Also look for something from me today where I'm going to be asking you for your all-time favorite book. Okay? Remember I mentioned that last week. I want to know your number 1 all-time favorite book for something we're going to do going forward. I hope you've gotten started on that day 1 of that packet of work we sent. Shouldn't be too hard or take you too long. There's some good extras in the back if you want to pick 1 ELA and 1 math, one to do extras like your enrichment kind of. I think that would be a really good idea. Of course, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm here to help. I miss you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.